Oh, welcome back. So this is ProTail Dev. We're back on the Add Little Turtle game, the turtle trial, and let's just get straight into it because the last few videos have been a bit long. Let's get straight into it. So I've added a new area, which is the afterlife. Hopefully this plays anytime soon, right? Okay. And I know the last few videos have been really long, so I'm going to try and keep it really short. Again, a lot of things have happened since last time I did a video. It's been a little while, almost a week. I've had a little bit less time than usual, but I still have gotten quite a lot done. And as you can see, I'm dying, and what I've added is a brand new afterlife area, similar to how we did in the Scrooge game. So in this area, what we got is basically where you can quit and you can go back to the main menu. I kind of like this more interactive way of going to the menu and almost dying. I much prefer it. And then you have, so we're going to we'll do that in a minute actually, and then we're going to go into life. So instead of death we choose life, and what will happen is it will respawn us with no resources. We get a little message here, you know, kind of saying you don't want to give up, and then you respawn. It'll continue the day, it'll continue the time, and it will also allow you to kind of get your bearings, allow you to get home, so it could be a strategy to get home. But you will lose resources. However, right now you don't lose any skill points, but hopefully maybe I'll look at that later because I don't know if it's punishing enough. I'll do that when I do testing. The next thing I want to show you is there's been a few updates to the UI, and a bunch of fixes to the health, shield and hunger UI because there was a few problems with it. It also looks a little bit smaller and a few changes. So as you can see, I think it's this and maybe a couple of minor UI changes to, like, there was some errors I think that were occurring in certain scenarios. And there was also one you may have noticed in the last video when I clicked skills, the mouse would disappear and it would basically become not visible. Now that's fixed and all of these work properly. I'm not working on any new stuff, at least unless it's in my plans already. So obviously you don't have the full scope of what that means. I don't want to go into too much detail in case this video goes long, but basically there's only a small amount of things that I'll be looking at during the test session, which I'm going to do next. Once I've finished recording this video, I'm going to get straight into testing. I'm going to spend 2 hours solid just playing my game to see if what's broken still, what kind of fixes need to put in, and then once I've got those fixed, and I've got the other version, our Scrooge game, up to date with new features that have been applied in this, I'm going to do another test session, probably again another 2 hours, and then I'm going to see where we are then. Next, I want to show you, I've added some more sound effects. There's a bunch of new sound effects for when the turtle is eating, when you unlock a power-up. We have a couple of other sound effects, so obviously you can hear the clicking, hopefully, of when I click these buttons and when I click any buttons. And there's a couple of other sounds mixed in that I've got hidden, and like for example when you collect lore and when you complete an objective. So you've got that, so a bunch of new sound effects. Probably not going to work on the sound too much. I'm still trying to create my own music, but I may end up scrapping that for time. The next thing is that the islands now heal correctly, so they now, when you're on an island, obviously when you get to a certain amount of hunger, you'll heal. Once it drops below a certain amount, I think it's either 50 or 70, I think it's maybe 50 is what I set it to. Once it drops below 50, you don't heal anymore, you have to have your hunger high enough. So that's another reason to keep your hunger high, and so you'll start healing. Before, the healing wasn't quite working when you went on islands, and by that I mean you also it didn't heal quicker. That's fixed, and as well as the shield is now fixed correctly, so now when you take damage from the enemy, if I can quickly just take a bit of damage, lose a few armor, there's the free armor that you get, and then let's drop a few of these, and then go on here. Sometimes it does break because you're still colliding with it while you enter the island. It does continue the battle. Once you go back off and back on, it'll fix it. So if I wait now for, I think it's something like 5 to 10 seconds, I believe I set it to 10 seconds, it'll regenerate a shield
Yep, so there you go, that's now working. And if your hunger's high enough, so if we just add a bit more hunger, let's just do, well, over the amount, but that's okay. We'll just eat a bunch of food. As you can see, we're healing. And this is basically, as you can see now, we're on 3 shields. It should go up to 4 and then straight up to 5, and then that's all the shields. So islands do now heal your armor. There's now a reason to go on them. Obviously, when you enter the deep ocean biome, your armor isn't going to heal as much because there isn't any. There's very little islands. There's only a couple that you can use. So that's a big problem, and obviously you're going to need the upgrade that allows you to have more durability for your shield. That's definitely an upgrade you'll want to go for. Moving on. So I fixed a bunch of collisions in the current canyon, so let's just quickly come out of play and go to our current canyons. I've added a little bit more diverse rocks, and you'll see a lot of these extra things like vents and just to add a bit of extra design to the area. But some of the collisions weren't working, some of them I forgot to turn them into triggers, simple mistake, fix those. Some of the collisions weren't quite covering certain areas, so you'd get stuck. I fixed that as well. So all collisions are now working, you now get pushed around all the different canyons, and now you've got to try and learn the routes a little bit better. Obviously, if I quickly press play so you can see it, I've added all these effects I've added all these particle effects which give you an indication of which way they're going. Not sure if that was in the last video, but I've added it regardless. I don't think it was. I don't think I covered it. But as you can see now, you can determine which way the exits and the entrances go, and you know that you can try and remember that from, for future reference. And it's a little bit easier, and it's a bit more of a visual cue for the player to know which way to go, which way it can't go. So that's that. The next thing is when you actually die. Let me see if I can quickly go there. Let's quickly go into the afterlife if I can. I believe there's a shark up here. Come on, shark. Yep. So when you get the shark and he kills you, you'll go into the afterlife. Oh, nice. Oh, he's actually pushing me in a specific way that not allowing me to take damage. There we go. Okay, so when you're in here, you'll notice that the food, the shield, and the health doesn't drain, and it'll all get set back to 0, which is what you expect when you're about to respawn. So they've added a bunch more Explorer upgrades to kind of flush it out a little bit, because I know on the last video there was only one that I put in there, and the rest were all not added. I've added a couple more. I haven't changed the text yet, but I've added a couple more. So one of them is adding a compass, which will help you later, especially when I'm telling you which way to go for the ending. Then you add the minimap, and then the very last one adds a lore finder, which are these things. These things will appear in the minimap, these icons, allowing you to find the player. So the next thing I want to look at is the menu. Let's quickly get that done now. Easiest way is to die, of course. Okay, so we're in the afterlife, we're dead, and let's go to the menu. So this is, let's imagine that in the actual game we'll go straight to the menu because we've had enough. This is the menu, so I've completely redesigned it to make it a little bit more appealing. Before it was a little bit rubbish, now it's a little bit better. I didn't really want to spend time making a logo because I take a little bit of time when it comes to things like logos, I always have, and I didn't want to spend too much time on this, because the arts, I wanted to move on from the art. So as you can see, we got a bunch of fish in the background, we got a little bit of sandbank, we've got some crabs, and we've got a little bit of coral underneath, and it adds a little bit more life to the menu. I think it looks quite nice, and I'm happy with it. We've got our buttons with our different lore statues for different options, and then we've obviously got the trials, the 2 different trials. When you come in here, you'll be able to see our first trial here, which is a little bit of a description, which I may change. I may raise this up and then put the description down here, so I don't know if I like it like this, or I might do something else. I'm not sure if I like the layout, but I'll look into that a little bit better. But they both play out. If I click this, it works. It starts up our screen, which I'm going to make a few minor changes to it, and then let's quickly instead go to our scene and then go to the menu.
and then play it from here. It all works just as it would normally. And if I play it from here and go back into the Lost Seas, then of course we can carry on playing as if nothing happened. So yeah, everything works and the menu's complete. Next thing, huge thing that I had to work on was of course the ending. So once you get all of the objectives, previously before the last video it didn't work. Let's come out there, go back to our main scene. So previously it didn't work, there was no end section, there was no end, and once you got all the objectives nothing happened. Now when you get all the objectives and you've basically done everything, so quick reminder on what the objectives are. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of objectives. Once this is complete and this is checked, you'll essentially get a camera shake, which I created a camera shake script. Very simple, very easy to do. It basically shakes the camera to alert you that just after the goals have been completed. Gives you it gives the player a notification saying there was a small tremor. Perhaps there's a way to get out of this rocky cage. And then the last one, I believe, is 10. This will complete all of the tasks. Oh, didn't. There you go. And then you get a camera shake. Camera shaked, and then you get a little message that tremor came from southeast of my original island that I washed up at. May have created an opening. So let's go and escape, and let's see if it's there. Now it should be there, of course. There will be sharks there. Now I'm just going to teleport us there, because why not? There we go, and then we end up in this area. There's like an opening in the wall. We can go onto a current, which is working. It demonstrated the current through the vents to tell you which way to go. You can stay in there, or you can just take your hand off the keyboard or whatever you're using the controller and just let it take you. But I'm just going to speed up a little bit. So as you go down here, you're almost out, and then the ending will trigger. The screen will go to white, and you've made it home. I was going to make a more extravagant ending, but I just didn't have time. I was going to have animations and things, but I would need more assets for celebration, so this is the best I've got. Once it finishes, it takes you back to the menu, and that's it, the game's complete. I think it's fine as it is, and based on my based on the 2 hours that I'm going to be doing, hopefully I'll get a good idea of how close I can get through the objectives and how long it's going to take. I've also fixed the biome tracking, so there was a huge biome tracking issue going into each area. I've fixed that now, so now all the objectives, as you saw, do work. The biome objectives will get triggered. You couldn't quite see that from me just activating the biomes manually, but they do now trigger now when a player enters, and that was a big fix. Okay, so the next update I'm going to be doing is mainly going to be my review on kind of my analysis and evaluation of my test session, and kind of the things I picked up on, things I want to do and improve, things that might annoy the player I need to now implement. I'm pretty happy with how the game is though, and I'm glad that we're getting through it now. We're getting towards the end. See you next time.